Imagine being humiliated in front of a crowd just for doing your job, and standing tall anyway because dignity matters more than a tip. Now picture the whole restaurant watching, stunned, as two racist men get exactly what they deserve from the one woman they thought they could crush. What happens next will leave you speechless. Stick around for the full story, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you believe in justice, truth, and standing up to hate, because this one's going to shake your soul. The shift that started it all. It was a sweltering Friday afternoon in Charleston, South Carolina, and inside Magnolia Bay Bistro, the AC was humming, the glasses clinked lightly with ice, and the scent of grilled shrimp and rosemary biscuits filled the air. At table 9, two sharply dressed white men leaned back in their seats, sipping bourbon like it was water and scanning the place like they owned it. Across the room, Amara Daniels, a 28-year-old waitress with cocoa brown skin, a radiant smile, and a spine forged by decades of being underestimated, tied her apron tighter. She had dreams bigger than tips working nights while attending law, school during the day, and her kindness was matched only by her unshakable self-respect. The two men, Preston and Blake Hammond, local real estate moguls and frequent patrons, were already loud when she walked toward them. "Finally," Blake muttered, not bothering to hide his annoyance. "Took long enough." Amara gave a polite nod. "What can I get for y'all?" she asked calmly. Preston looked her up and down, smirking. "How about someone who actually speaks proper English?" he said, just loud enough for the next table to hear. The words hit her like a slap, but Amara held her ground. "Sir, if you're not ready to order respectfully, I'll give you a moment," she replied, standing tall. Blake leaned forward. "Are you serious? We don't want attitude. We're paying customers. Get your manager, unless they also hired." "You was a diversity quota." Gasps rippled from nearby tables. Amara's throat tightened, but she didn't flinch. "I won't be serving you," she said, voice unwavering. "This establishment has a zero-tolerance policy for abuse." She turned and walked away. The restaurant fell silent. Then Preston stood up, voice rising. "You're finished, girl. No one talks to us like that and keeps there the manager, the truth, and the camera within minutes." The floor manager, Jeanne, a middle-aged woman with salt and pepper curls and tired eyes, rushed over. "Amara," she whispered harshly. "What happened?" But before Amara could answer, Blake cut in. "She disrespected us, refused service, and played the victim. You need to fire her. Now." Jeanne, torn between loyalty and fear of lawsuits, stammered, I think we should talk in the back." But before anything else could unfold, a young teenager seated nearby with his family stood up. "Mom, didn't you record what they said?" His mother nodded, eyebrows raised, and held up her phone. "I got it all," she said. The Hammonds froze. "You don't have permission to," Blake barked. "Public space," she shot back. "And you embarrassed yourselves, not her." Amara blinked in disbelief. For the first time, the balance shifted. More customers pulled out phones. People began murmuring, some walking out in protest. "I'm not eating where racists get to demand service," a man shouted. Jeanne paled. The owners of the bistro, a husband and wife duo, were out of town, but their daughter, Camille, had come in unannounced to check on the place. She witnessed it all. "Who told her to stop serving them?" Camille asked coldly. Jeanne stuttered. I didn't mean to." Camille stepped forward, looked at Amara, and said, "You did the right thing. Go take your break." Then she turned to the men. "Get out. You're banned." Preston's face turned beet red. "We own properties all over this block. You'll regret this." Camille's response was simple. "Not as much as you're about to regret today." By Monday morning, the video had gone viral. Over 4 million views in 24 hours. Headlines across Twitter and Facebook read, "Black waitress stands tall against racist men. Public responds with fury." The restaurant's Yelp page exploded with 5-star reviews. Messages of support poured in. Amara, still working her shift with quiet humility, had no idea that a local news station was setting up to interview her. Meanwhile, Preston and Blake were losing everything. One of their tenants, a tech startup founder, posted a viral thread. "Guess who our landlord is? Guess who we're canceling contracts with?" Within a week, 3 properties pulled out of leases. A black realtor named Micah, whom Preston once refused to shake hands with at a networking event, launched a campaign exposing their discriminatory practices. The thread went viral too. State regulators took notice. An audit into their business dealings was launched. Whistleblowers came forward. In just 2 weeks, Blake and Preston found themselves under fire, drowning in lawsuits and public backlash. Amara, meanwhile, was invited on national talk shows. "I didn't plan this," she told one host. "I just knew what I couldn't let slide." Offers came pouring in: scholarships, book deals, even job offers from law firms impressed by her composure and ethics. But Amara kept her eyes on her dream, finishing law school and defending those whose voices were ignored. She turned down fame and focused on finishing her months later. The final twist came when Amara, now interning at a civil rights law firm, learned that a major housing discrimination case was being built against the Hammonds, and she was asked to assist. She didn't hesitate. Preston and Blake sat at the defendant's table, stunned, as Amara walked into the courtroom, not as a waitress, but in a navy suit, files in hand, calm, collected, and ready to speak. She didn't gloat. She didn't smirk. She simply let the facts do the talking. "These men didn't just disrespect me," she said during closing remarks. "They built a career on disrespecting anyone who looked like me." The courtroom held its breath. The jury ruled in favor of the plaintiffs, millions in damages. News cameras captured Blake yelling at reporters, and Preston trying to hide his face behind a coat. Later that evening, Amara returned to Magnolia Bay Bistro. Camille greeted her with a hug. "You've come full circle," she said. "You're not a waitress anymore. You're the woman who reminded all of us what courage looks like." Amara smiled. "I'll always be proud of that job, because it showed me who I am when the world tries to strip it away." The restaurant now had a plaque in her honor, to Amara Daniels, who refused to be silent. And beneath it, a quote she chose: "Dignity doesn't wait for approval. It demands it."